When modeling the hand, consider its size relative to the face. The length from the palm to the tip of the middle finger matches the distance from the chin to the hairline. The hand's width is equal to the width of the mouth. Our measurements confirm we're on the right track. Next, focus on the sculptural shape and its aesthetic appeal. Study the masters to see how they addressed hands and gestures. Avoid overcomplicating shapes. Prioritize gestures and movements. Remember, hands are as expressive as faces. Prioritize structure over detail. Ask yourself if the hand looks sculptural, like it could be carved in marble. For finger positions and gestures, think of variation. Ensure fingers align logically from the wrist to the tips. Pay attention to finger tapering, especially in women. Note that the top side of the fingers shows bones and cartilage due to minimal fat. Stand back to ensure the overall shape is pleasing. For today's slim supermodels, hands are bony, but historically, women's hands had more flesh. Both styles have their merits. Lines are visual poetry, occurring between forms. When in doubt, use box shapes and then round them off, keeping in mind the taper of the fingers. A common beginner mistake is cutting lines too early. Save lines for the final touch. Subtle shapes bring your model to life. Observe how fat gathers and influences anatomy. This attention to detail adds realism and vitality to your sculpture. I prefer to treat the hand as a single object. Before adding round shapes, I like to square things off to define the directions of the bones and tapers. Spend some time reinforcing the areas around the fingers so they don't collapse during modeling. Modern hands, especially those of super thin models, have pronounced knuckles due to a lack of fat, making them appear claw-like. I use plaster casts from antiquity to model hands with more fatty layers. Model hands as though you were going to carve them, saving the division of the fingers for last. In design, use repetition with variation. Show variations in finger positions, like one being slightly higher or tucked behind another. Break up the edges of the hands to create interest. Be cautious about digging too early to avoid creating undercuts. Focus on the roundness of the fingernail and the depth of the curves, as this movement adds life. Remember Michelangelo's words, "Trifles make perfection, and perfection is no trifle." Keep direction and taper in mind while carving. This technique helps in carving because you'll know what to look for when removing material. All these subtle rectangles just need smoothing to form a hand. The taper of the fingers is crucial, especially for antique hand styles. Adding mass to the fingertips helps balance the clay, which is less stable than stone. To smooth the hand, use a bristle brush, a wood tool, and a piano wire tool. Lubricate with paint thinner and gently burnish the surface, blending with the tool for a clean finish. Your sculptural work, if preserved, will last beyond digital records, showcasing your craftsmanship.